Hi guys, welcome back to the Drive Life channel, and in today's video you join me in the Sprinter, small hours of the morning, and we're heading off to Thruxton Circuit. I'll running a little late, so I'll hop onto the road and fill you guys in what we're doing once we're underway. Driving has been such a major part of my life, even since I was a small toddler. I dreamt about driving. I would drive my dad's Land Rover around a field. I would play driving games. I was just obsessed, and I have been since a small child. So joining the Institute of Advanced Motorists was something that I was always going to do. As part of that, I was invited to enter a competition called the UK's Best Young Driver. Now, this is essentially a competition for young drivers 16 to 25 to test their skills, to work out who is the best, but also improve their skills and improve road safety, because young drivers aged 18 to 25 are the most likely group to be involved in a serious accident in their first 2 years of driving. So it's certainly a very, very important thing. Now, I was lucky enough to win it last year, the UK's Best Young Driver, and I was sent to Spain to represent the Institute of Advanced Motorists, IAM Road Smart, and also the UK in the European or International Best Young Driver final. This year I was invited back by the IAM as sort of the reigning champion person to present the awards and also see how the next generation of Best Young Drivers are heading, what direction they're heading and how they're getting on. Okay then guys, so here we are at Thruxton Circuit. Like I said, I've been here before for a track day, and it is a cool place. I do like it, so be interested to see what the day brings, definitely. And yeah, it's just going to be awesome to see sort of the next generation of Best Young Drivers come through today. Not that I've seen it before, but good luck to them all. You know, we're going to try and coach them through it and share my experiences from last year to make sure they can all do the best that they can. And yeah, so let's try and find out where we need to be. I think I'm going to go straight over into through the tunnel there. Green light, that's good. Should fit under here, no problem. Here we go, we've got some signage now. So a lot of these cones, as you can see, we've got Fords as the cars of choice today. A lot of these cones are going to be the challenges, so it'll be quite interesting to see. And they were talking about getting a big vehicle, so it'd be interesting to see what they've gone for on that. We've got a few of the old friends there as well, so yeah, let me go work out what's going on, and I'll join you guys again in a bit. So let's take a look then at the cars the guys will be using. And first up we have the Ford Puma ST. Interesting colour, not one I'd choose, but yeah, should be a sporty little thing to have some fun in. Then we've got a Ford Focus ST as well, in the same interesting colour. You can see one in the background over there, going to be used for the challenge. These are spare ones just in case the guys or we managed to break one during the day, so hopefully we won't need to use these ones. And then we've got a selection of Porsche Caymans here, which are going to be used for driving on track this afternoon for a sort of track driving assessment. It's not going to be a fast one, it's more judging sort of general car control, etc. So yeah, 2.7 litre I think these ones are. Or are they the 2.7 litre rather than 3.2, but still plenty of fun to drive, and nice to drive as well, that's the main thing. So yeah, let's go ahead and look at some of the challenges. Okay then guys, so we've just been in for the briefing. We've got a few exercises set up here. This first one is going to be precision parking, which is basically parking in tiny gaps as fast as you can. This next one's called parking parkour, which is where you've got to first parallel park inside that bay there, and then you've got to do a 3-point turn inside that bay over there. Which is far easier said than done, because they've set it up so it's literally the size of the car. So you've got to really be good at getting things nice. So before the contestants arrived, we all had to go at the various challenges. This one here, you can see we're testing the parallel parking, and the idea is that you've got to get as close to the curb or the cones on the other side of the Ford as possible. If you're further away, you basically, as they measure it here, you will get time added on. So the further away you are, the more time you get added on, which is interesting to say the least. You then have to go reverse out of the space, and you've got to pull into this box here and do a 3-point turn, and you'll see there really isn't that much space to do so. It's pretty tight indeed. Now this one in Spain I managed to do quite well, but when I had to go on well, this time around I did find it a little bit hard. This obviously isn't me driving, but yeah, it was good fun to give these a go again, because it's been well over a year now since I was in Spain. So yeah, you can see here it's very tight. You've got sensors and stuff in the car, but they're not really helpful for this sort of thing. And this is one of the instructors here just having a go. And as you can see, you're meant to reverse a drive into the bay, so just getting these last bits was important, so we knew what to do when the contestants came. The next challenge was designed to test your precision parking, so you had to reverse up this course here. Touching a cone or the grass was a massive penalty, and then you had to reverse into this very tight box at the back here. Now this was about 50 centimetres wider than the car, so it was very tight indeed, and you had measured on the distance to the back cones, to the back of the car really. So if the further away you were, just like in the parallel park, you were penalised more. You then had to drive out of here and do a parallel park, where again you're measured with the distance, and then reverse back into the tight cone garage, which you'll see in a second. So you can see here now just how tight this garage is. You've got just enough space with the cones there to open your door, and you will sort of dash out and turn off the stopwatch. So it's completely up to you how quickly you get out of the car, but obviously it all affects your time there, and you can see you're measured at the back there as well for any of the penalties. This challenge here is perhaps one of the most difficult of the whole day, to be honest. You'll notice that all of the windows are completely covered in black bin liners, and you've only got the windscreen. So the idea is that you have to drive reverse slalom through the course up there using nothing but the reversing camera, and it is incredibly difficult. It's amazing how much you'll hate using a reversing camera when it's all you've got to use. It really does make a massive difference. So this will be an interesting one to see how they get on. I'm not going to give them any tips because it'll be quite funny, but yeah, definitely an interesting one to see, but not a fun one. The final challenge of the morning involved a cone slalom with this Suzuki Jimny. Now you'll notice on the bonnet there's a little bit of a protrusion, and what that is a bowl with a tennis ball in it, and the idea is that you have to keep the tennis ball in the bowl while you're doing the slalom. Now the slalom starts off fairly easily, and in the Jimny it seems fairly mundane, but as you go further down it tightens up, which caught quite a few of the contestants out, as did the lock to lock ratio here on the Jimny. So you can see this chap was struggling with oversteering the slalom. For those of you who are perhaps looking for a tip on how to do a slalom, the idea is that you want to keep the car as close to the cones as possible. You don't want to steer more than you have to, so if you keep that rear wheel nice and tight into each cone like that, you should be able to get round them
no problem at all without having to reverse. Now on this occasion, hitting cones was a big penalty. That's why they're all being very cautious here, as to not hit the cones. But don't forget, you're also trying to balance that ball in the bonnet as well, which is easier said than done. But as you can see, the Jimny is quite an agile little vehicle, and it was quite cool to see one of these new generation Jimnys in person, because I'd never actually seen one up close and been able to sit in one, so it was quite an interesting little thing. They are tiny, but they are cool as well. I'm just not sure I'd be willing to pay the 30 grand price tag they command now. But yeah, this challenge was an interesting one for a lot of people. I think it surprised some people how difficult it was, because once you get one cone in the slalom wrong, you're then sort of out of kilter for the rest of it. And then one final little hurdle they had to overcome was to park as close as they could to this cone here. And you'll notice there's a camera on the right hand side. That was the BBC filming the event. It was nice to get some national TV coverage as well. So yeah, they were then measured on how close they were to this cone, and if they were too close or if they hit it like this chap does, then you were penalised.
So, I'm Sean Cronin from IAM Road Smart. I'm one of our regional managers and look after the south of England. And I also run the Skills Day programme on our circuits when we travel around the country helping people develop their driving.
We're going to go for a spin around Thruxton in a Porsche Cayman. It's a little bit different to doing in my Volvo.
Yes, of course, you came in your Volvo, didn't you?
Yeah.
The Porsche is much flatter, and of course, even though it's raining here today, Thruxton's a really grippy surface, so it's actually, you barely notice. So the candidates, when they do their circuit driving this afternoon, they'll be the emphasis is not on outright speed. We're very happy for them to drive, reasonably briskly, but we want, smooth, controlled, good gear changing, effective use of the brakes. Is their steering good? That's the sort of thing we're looking for, not how quickly can you lap Thruxton. We've got some cone chicanes out the back here deliberately, but we often find people don't use their brakes effectively. So this is just a great opportunity to get really hard on the brakes and then get the gear and then drive through the chicane.
Can't beat the sound of a flat six, can you?
I was going to say, it does sound really nice, doesn't it? Yeah. And again, it's get on the brakes nice and early, really get the brakes working, pick the gear before the chicane, drive it through, and get back on that lovely noise.
And these are the 2.7s, aren't they? The smaller.
Do you know what? You might be right.
Yeah, I think the Cayman S's are the 3.2s.
Yes. One of my instructors here today, Mark, he's got a Cayman S.
Yeah. He took me out in that last time, and that was yeah.
And obviously we'll go through the pit lane because we're busy in the main straight doing some activity. So
unless you want to take the slalom with them,
could be tricky. A speed slalom.
And some of that slalom is really tight towards the end, isn't it?
Yes.
Quite a challenge, especially in the Jimny that's got so many turns lock to lock.
Yeah, it's quite a tricky vehicle for it, but I think that's really quite good.
Definitely.
So we'll just have another run out now. Warm the car up, warm the brakes up. I have to say, the first time I touched the brakes this morning in this, they were really quite dull.
There's nothing there, not responsive.
I mean, we're really not going quickly. When the British touring cars are here, the speeds are incredible. They really are.
I think track driving compared to road driving is so different in terms of lines, isn't it? You've got so much more space to work with.
Yeah, and you know, we really do use all of the road surface. You know, we would do that on the public road where it's safe and legal to do so as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we made it easy for them this afternoon. All they've got to do is join up the dots, turn in Apex, you know, so they know where they're going to be driving. And the cone taper here just brings the severity of the corner. We want them on this side of the circuit. We don't want them going too far over to the left.
The slippery bit.
Yeah, if they slipped out onto that grass out there, especially on a day like today,
they wouldn't stop in a hurry, would they?
we pick them up from Andover, I think. And again, nice and firm on the brakes. Get all the braking done in a straight line. Pick that gear on the power as we go through, and then get on that flat 6.
How do you think they'll... I doubt many of them have done much track driving before. How do you think they'll cope?
Yeah, that's one of the things we wanted to do today, was to put them into an environment where they were a little bit uncomfortable, just to see how they will cope. You know, will they drive briskly? Will they drive really cautiously? You know, we're gonna see how they'll manage that. And be in the right gear, of course. I've just picked third there. It's completely the wrong gear. So they, you know, we want them to get on with it, but we don't want them to go too wild. And of course, the temptation when anybody ever gets on a track is, wow, it's a flat, barrenless landscape. There's nothing to look at, and they can often end up going far too quickly. So we'll be, we'll be watching for that as well. But you know, we want them to have a bit of fun. You know, 3 laps in the Porsche Cayman with us just watching them.
George. Thank you very much.
No problem.
After the track driving, there's one final challenge which really played into the conditions of the day. As you can see, it's been pouring with rain all day, and that is the skid pan here at Thruxton. Now, they first went out in a front wheel drive car. As you can see, it's a Mini Cooper, and they were put through their paces on this slalom course. They then went out in a rear wheel drive automatic Toyota GT86, which was a totally different handling dynamic. Interestingly, both of these cars had ABS and traction control disabled as well, so it really was an element of car control, how these young drivers adapted to the conditions in cars they'd never driven before. So after a hard day's driving, the results were in and it was time to announce the winners. I had the pleasure of presenting this year's winners with their trophies, and you'll meet them in a second, but obviously not before some Thruxton Main Straight photographs of them all first to celebrate the special day. Okay then guys, congratulations, you are the UK's best young drivers. How does that feel?
It feels pretty surprising.
Yeah, it was great. It's been a brilliant day. Really enjoyed it.
Yeah. I think we were just saying we didn't expect to win it, certainly.
Yeah,
So,
surprised with not knowing the results throughout the day. So
really exciting stuff.
yeah.
And what was your favourite or least favourite, or both?
I think probably the skid pad for me. That was great fun. And also the track driving as well. Really enjoyed it.
Nice.
Good day all round. I've got to say, track driving was brilliant. You know, I get to go around faster in a Porsche that often.
So your first time driving a Porsche?
Yeah.
Nice. Well, brilliant. Congratulations, guys. Congratulations to you both.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
And have a brilliant time in Austria. Make sure someone buys you lots of drinks. Okay then, guys, so there we are. Those are the 2 best young drivers in the UK. Congratulations to Ben and Brad. It was an honour to sort of hand over the mantle to them, for them to sort of continue the sort of UK young driver representation, and congratulations to everyone who made it to the final. Really, you all did absolutely fantastically. We didn't have any major crashes or anything like that, which is always good. And as you can probably tell, it's been a long, hard day. We've been very wet. It's been pouring with rain all day. Typically, we've just finished and it's now not raining, which is always the way. But yeah, congratulations, guys. Have a fantastic time. They're going to be representing the UK in Austria in October. So
wish them all very good luck, and yeah, we'll see you next video. Cheers.